What's happening everyone, TomGorian here and welcome back to part 18 of the F123 Haas to Glory Career Mode series, where we take Haas all the way to glory to try and win the Constructors' World title. This is episode 18 of the Haas to Glory for Season 2. This is the fourth race of Season 2 here in IMOLA for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, or the San Marino Grand Prix, for the older heads out there. Check out the playlist and also the previous video in the chapters, and also subscribe for more F123 content and like the video so that helps me in the algorithm. So here's a bit of a recap if you haven't paid attention or you forgot about the previous two episodes. We've had a slow start in this season 2 of the Haas to Glory. We've had 2 10th places and we did redeem ourselves with a podium last time out in Miami, but as you can see, Sergio Perez, Lando Norris, Alex Albon and Max Verstappen are really starting to extend their leads in the Drivers' Championship. As far as Kevin Magnussen is concerned, Magnussen isn't really pulling his weight. He's still behind, but as we enter the European part of the season with Imola, Monaco in the next episode, and Spain after that, we're bringing some major upgrades. We've got one for the chassis, one for the durability I think, and one for the aerodynamics. We're starting to make significant grounds now as far as our upgrades are concerned. So as you can see, I think in the previous video we did an upgrade to our tyre wear, and as you can see, there's just our performances in the vehicle performance comparison. We've been working our chassis for a long time, and speaking of our chassis, there's our first upgrade and our one and only upgrade of this video, the roll dampers. That's another tyre wear upgrade, so that will make sure that our tyres are more durable for the racetrack like this. As you can see with our chassis, we have the third best chassis, only behind Aston Martin and also Red Bull, and it really feels like in this season of the Haas to Glory, our main competition is really between Red Bull and Aston Martin as we head towards Imola, but also McLaren as well. McLaren have made major strides, and as you can see, there's a bit of a gap going on between us and Williams as far as who the fourth best team is, and we need to try and get some major upgrades to try and close the gap and eventually overtake Red Bull, Aston Martin and McLaren if we want to have the best car. However, we've had a long enough break for the Haas to Glory and we're back to finish the story, so let's get right in to the race weekend. So here we go for qualifying for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and the car in practice did feel quite good, to the point where we were competing with the Aston Martins and also the Red Bulls in FP2 and FP3, to the point where in FP3 we were just under 2 tenths away from Alex Albon and the Aston Martin. So hopefully we can try and score a top 6 in qualifying and maybe try and replicate another podium, as our first lap we do a 14 flat and that put us in 4th place. But now as we fast forward towards the last 25 seconds of qualifying, we are down in 11th. So we need to try and somewhat gain, I'd say, 5 tenths as we enter the first chicane there, and we clip the apex quite perfectly as Carlos Sainz does a 13.5, and that gets beaten by Lando Norris, who does a 13.3. So the pressure is slightly on us now to try and somewhat do a 13 in this qualifying session, but it hasn't even been a good start as we're just mixing in our deltas. We're slightly up in one corner and we're slightly down, and as we enter the fast left-handers, we're not even half a tenth up. So it's not been a good start to this qualifying lap as we enter the double right-handers. I forget the name of those corners, but as we enter this chicane, we can really abuse the curbs of the chicane as we downshift into 3rd gear. And we go a little bit wide. That's some cheese. We get a warning for exceeding track limits, but the game actually lets us get away with it as we enter the final 2 corners here in qualifying, and we are under 3 tenths up, so hopefully we can nail this final corner. We go a little bit wide and we're losing half a tenth, and with that we do a 13.8 and it puts us in 9th place. That's disappointing. 9th place for the race.
Well, today's venue has a full name that is perhaps lesser known than its informal one. So today we're at Imola, or to give it its official title, the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari, named after their legacy. A beautiful tribute at a beautiful circuit. It's time, everyone, for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. One lap of Imola, anti-clockwise of course, unlike most Formula One circuits, will take our drivers round 3.1 miles of track. 19 turns, 9 right-handers and 10 to the left. Drivers will need to be precise at the hairpin at turn 7, given the subsequent uphill section. Without a good exit from that corner, they'll lose a lot of time on that stretch. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Albon, Sainz, Leclerc, Perez, Stroll, Verstappen, Thomas, Russell, Magnussen, Gasly, Hamilton, Bottas, Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, Joe, Sargent, De Vries, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was expecting a little bit more out in qualifying, to be honest. I was, wanting a top 7. And I thought that the car had more pace than a 13.8. I thought we could have done maybe a 13.7 or a 13.6, and we could have maybe done it if the Sector 1 part of the lap was a little bit more tidy. But, what you're going to do? It's P9. I mean, it could be worse. We could be starting last. We could be starting in 14th or something. So, we've just got to try and somewhat adapt to this race. So, as far as the strategy, there's no signs of rain. It will be light clouds. So that means the track temperature will be a little bit more cold. But yeah, the one thing now I'm starting to struggle with this game is just reading the strategy. And as you can see, everyone else is running the mediums. So it looks like everyone else is going to be doing the mediums to hards. Looking back, I do believe this was the wrong strategy, because you'll see in the second half of this video, when we do eventually box for hards, how bad and how slow we are on the hard tyres. As you can see, I'm trying to mess around with the mediums to softs. But the game is telling us that we're going to be a second slow, like 9/10 slower. So, I mean, from now on, I'm just going to ignore the default strategy as far as the time, and just focus on what I feel comfortable. So, let's do this.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
So confirmation of the strategies there. As you can see, a 1-stop for the mediums to the hards, and then a 2-stop for the softs to double mediums. But before we get started, if you do enjoy this video, then make sure to hit the like button and also subscribe and turn the notifications bell on so that you never miss an episode of the F1 23 Haas to Glory. It's been a very slow start to this Haas to Glory, but hopefully as we enter the European part of the championship, we can somewhat make ground in this season. Here we go at Imola for 5 red lights. Lights out, away we go in Imola for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It's a steady start by us as we overtake George Russell and also Max Verstappen as well. Verstappen hasn't had a good start, just like in the sprint race in Qatar, as we go in towards turn 1, and Charles Leclerc boxes out already as we head towards the end of the first chicane, and we're already in P8, and we're going to try and just survive this first lap. Hopefully we can just make the first lap without any damage, but if we do see an opening, then we're going to take, as we head towards the penultimate corner, we're going to dive down the inside of the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc already. We nearly go into the gravel, but that is a very bold and risky move as we head towards the end of lap 3. And I'd say the first 25% of this race was just to try and judge the pace with the AI and just see what the pace is like, see if I can just keep up with Lance Stroll and Sergio Perez. And as you can see, we're more than keeping up with Lance Stroll. As Yuki Tsunoda has retired from the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, as we go down the inside of Lance Stroll. And Lance Stroll hasn't had a good season, has he? If you've been watching Formula 1 in real life, let me know down in the comments below. Here's the question of the video. Do you think Lance Stroll deserves a seat for 2024? Leave your opinions down in below. Personally, I don't believe he deserves a seat in 2024 as we overtake Carlos Sainz. I believe that I think Drugovich deserves a seat more than Lance Stroll. He's been really disappointing compared to his teammate Fernando Alonso. And in this alternate universe, his teammate Alex Albon. As you can see, Albon is battling with Perez for the final podium positions, but the two McLarens are absolutely bolting away as we're actually going to send it down the inside of Sergio Perez. And you know what? That's a very risky move there, but we do lose the back end there as Perez actually tries to overtake us back, and he's got the position, but as we head in towards the double right-handers, we're going to retake that position back, and that is Sergio Perez done and dusted for this time being. So now the objective in this race is to just monitor Alex Albon. I don't want to waste my DRS and try and close to the point where he's going to hold me up. I just want to use him for DRS to extend my gap over Sergio Perez and also George Russell, and also that train behind with Charles Leclerc and also Lance Stroll as well. So lap 16, Albon comes in and we're going to follow him into the box. I believe I should have probably done an undercut. I should have boxed on lap 15, and that way I could have got the advantage when it comes to the tyre wear, because the undercut in this game, as everyone else knows, is very overpowered. So looking back, we do get held just a little bit, but following Albon on lap 16 of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, that was the wrong choice, because as you can see, one lap later, he has literally bolted 2.5 seconds on us, and whereas fear is true, this car on the hard tyres is absolutely shambolic as we do a 16.5 on the hard tyres, but as you can see, Carlos Sainz does a 15.6. What? I'm sorry, but Carlos Sainz and the Ferrari team need to be drug tested after this race, because what in God's name do they have any right of doing a 15.6 on the hard tyres? I mean, I know, Imola is kind of their home circuit along with Monza and stuff, and they must do some type of extra testing or whatever, but a 15.6? Ferrari is a slower car than us, and they're doing... What do you mean? What do you mean Ferrari is a slower car than us, and they're doing a 15.6 while I'm doing a 16.5 on the hard tyres? That has to be drug tested. FIA, FOM, Formula 1, drug test Carlos Sainz and drug test Ferrari, and if they test positive for anything, then disqualify them from the championship, because that's ridiculous. However, 5 laps left, and you wanna know what else is ridiculous? Sergio Perez. He's now coming all over us, and as you can see, Sergio Perez is going to try and go around the outside in towards the first corner, but we're going to hold him off for the time being as we now enter the last 2 laps here at Imola, and look at the gap between us and Oscar Piastri. It's 11 seconds, as there goes Sergio Perez, our rival in this race, and that is 4th place gone. Or is it, as we enter the final lap here at Imola, and we've got enough gap to try and hold off Carlos Sainz. Now we need to just beat Sergio Perez. This is personal because he is our rival. We're going to use all the battery. We're going to go down the inside of the Red Bull of Sergio Perez, and that is P4 secure in Imola, and the gap between us and the McLarens and Alex Albon is 12 seconds. Lando Norris wins the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Maybe that's a sign of things to come in real life, but for us, it's going to be 4th place.
It's a performance that our Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix winners can be justifiably proud of, and I'm sure there'll be celebrations tonight. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure. And no doubt, they'll be celebrating tonight.
and McLaren won 2 on the podium, followed by Alex Albon in P3 in Imola. It's clear that we just didn't have the pace today to compete with the McLarens and also Alex Albon. And just the AI in general. I mean, when you have Carlos Sainz in a slower Ferrari doing a lap time 9/10 quicker than you on the same hard tyres, that's very questionable. I don't know if they have some type of traction control hacks or some overpowered 2019 engine specifications, but the FIA need to do a check on that Ferrari. But that is that for episode 18 of the F123 Haas to Glory. We finish in 4th place, and Lando Norris takes the lead in the Drivers' Championship, but we close the gap, and we are now just over 50 points as we tie Carlos Sainz for 5th place in the Drivers' Championship. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to turn the notifications bell on so that you never miss an upload, and subscribe to the channel for more F123 Haas to Glory content. Leave a comment down below if you agree that Lance Stroll does not deserve a seat in next season's championship. I personally believe that Drugovich deserves a seat over him. But yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video in a bit.